everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new, welcome to the family. My name is Dina. I am so happy to have you guys here. So today we are talking about 3 badass goddesses that you may want to embody the energy of if you're feeling a little unconfident or whatever it may be. There's different reasons to embody the energy of each or even work with the goddess, which we'll talk a little bit about that element at the end of the video. I just want to talk specifically about the goddesses first, but I thought this would be a fun video to just kind of get into the basics of the goddesses. Don't expect too much information in this video. I want to give just a simple overview of the story and the energy of each goddess, but I'm not going to get too in depth with the mythology because I'll be honest, there's a lot. Like every single god and goddess has so much mythology and the stories are complicated and they vary from culture to culture. Like some of these goddesses are seen in multiple cultures, but they have slight variations and it's just impossible to cover it all in a video. So if you guys want to go off and do a little bit more research because that is something that you're interested in, by all means, make sure you go do that. But I just want to make sure this video is digestible for everyone. So the first goddess I wanted to talk about is Lilith. Now Lilith is one of the most misunderstood goddesses out there, which is why I want to talk about her, because she was portrayed as this dark and horrible woman and really had a lot of negative connotations attached to her. When we look at the story and how she's misunderstood, like Lilith kind of becomes the first badass feminist of history or mythology, I guess. So Lilith was actually Adam's first wife, at least according to certain beliefs and cultures. Unlike Eve, who was made out of Adam's rib, Lilith was actually created from soil like Adam. So she was made basically with equal nature. Anyways, the story goes that while they were, doing things together, having sexy time, Lilith wanted to be on top, but Adam refused that. He's like, no, I'm the man, I should be on top. You have to always be on the bottom, blah, blah, blah. Lilith only wanted equality. She basically just wanted to be an equal with Adam, but he wasn't having that. He was this man that was super patriarchal, and he was like, no, I'm the man, you're the woman, you have to be below me and you have to come second. But Lilith is like, no, I'm not gonna have that. I'm gonna walk away because I don't need to take this crap. So Lilith left Adam and she was actually found by the Red Sea. So God actually sent 3 angels to go after her and be like, you're bringing her back to Adam. And if she refuses to come back willingly, then you have to force her to come back, which is seriously, why are all these men trying to control women? But anyways, so these angels go after Lilith and she's by the Red Sea and they're like, oh, you have to come with us or we're gonna drown you in the sea if you don't come back to your husband. How twisted is that? But she refuses to because she's like, I don't have to take this crap. What the heck is this? So Lilith actually decides to stay by the sea. She exiled herself so that she could find freedom. And she actually had thousands of children with demons, which is a whole other thing. But long story short, God's like, oh, you left your husband. I'm going to punish you for all eternity. So he was basically killing off her children to punish her for leaving her husband. Anyways, you can go into more depth about it than that. Long story short, Lilith was this badass that decided to be treated equal and she wasn't going to take crap from her husband or God. So she left and she's like, hey, I'm going to live my best life and be the badass woman that I deserve to be. If you are somebody who is looking to, bring out that inner badass nature, empower yourself, be more confident. Maybe you're somebody who's also, dealing with a relationship that is similar to Lilith's relationship. Maybe your man, your husband, your partner, whoever it is, maybe they are not treating you as an equal. Maybe they think they're above you or they can make all the decisions for you. Lilith represents so many things to so many people. She is a fight against the patriarchy. She is a fight for equality of the sexes. She represents empowerment. She also embodies transformation. She embodies sensuality, independence, freedom. So there's so many powerful themes and energies that go with Lilith, which is why so many people love Lilith. And she wasn't always seen like this, but in recent times, especially with the rise of feminism, Lilith became this figure, this symbolism. I wanted to come back to this because once Lilith is gone, God created Eve for Adam, who then was created out of Adam's rib. So it's just I don't know a lot about all the stories. I'm gonna straight out say that I have not read the entire Bible, so I don't know all the stories. So maybe there's parts that I'm missing that would be valuable in this knowledge, I'll admit that. But considering Lilith was also made from the soil and she rebelled, I feel like God made Eve out of Adam's rib because he wanted her to be like subordinate. He wanted her to be submissive to Adam, which Eve ended up eating the forbidden fruit anyway. So it's just like, what have we learned here? You can't tame women and keep them in a cage. Stop trying to control us. Anyways, let's move on to the next goddess, who is Hecate. So Hecate is a lesser known goddess of Greek mythology. She is the child of Perseus and Asteria. I apologize if I say these names wrong. She is the only Titan to retain her control under Zeus's reign, so she's already pretty badass there. Now, she was very powerful. Her powers transcended the boundaries of the sky, the earth, the seas, the underworld. Like, she kind of ruled it all, but she was definitely very known for the underworld. Like, she had that darker energy to her. Now, she is known as the goddess of magic, of witchcraft, and of the underworld as well. She's also seen as the triple goddess. So when you see the triple goddess symbol, the maiden, the mother, and the crone, Hecate actually embodies all three of those archetypes. So she's kind of the origin of where that came from. She was also seen as a protector. She was a protector of the oikos, which means basically household in Greek, but she also was a protector of entranceways as well. So she had a very strong, protective, and just like magical and powerful energy to her. She was also a protector of witches too, which is really cool. So if you are a witch and you're looking for some extra protection, I mean, Hecate is the goddess to call upon, to work with, but she empowers the divine feminine energy, which is really cool. And also our intuition, because she's associated with magic, because she's associated with witchcraft. So if you're looking to really empower that side of you, which the divine feminine is connected to the intuition and all that, which when I say divine feminine, that's not just females, guys, that's guys too. You know, we all have both of those energies within us, divine feminine and divine masculine, but she empowers that divine feminine. So a lot of people may work with her in their practice for that reason. Now, despite being associated with darker topics, according to, you know, the Greeks and what they believed, she was actually thought of as a very kind goddess, a very loving and nurturing and protective goddess. So Hecate represents obviously that nurturing motherly energy, but she's also, you know, empowerment. She's also magic and divination, intuition, that like intuitive power. She's also a protector of children and helps through like childbirth, things like that. So again, that nurturing motherly energy. She also represents change and cycles and can assist and help with strength through those hard times. So like if you're going through a really tough cycle in your life, then Hecate is actually a really great energy to work with. She also is really good for like helping with safe travel. She also represents karma. So, you know, good things come to good people that treat other people kindly, but if you're hurting people, that energy is going to come back to you. So that's where she kind of has a little bit of that darker side of like, she's not going to put up with crap. You know, if you're not being respectful, if you're doing bad things in life, like you're gonna get it. It's gonna come back to you. She's got a very interesting energy to her. You don't necessarily have to work with these goddesses per se. And I was gonna talk about this at the end, but I'm just gonna touch on it now. So when people work with deities, sometimes they have a more literal vision of working with them. Like they actually believe it's Hecate, the woman that's kind of in the cosmos, and they're working with her. Some people believe it's a little bit more abstract and more of an energy. So it really depends on your belief system, where you come from, your personal beliefs, all of that stuff. Different people will say different things. But if you don't want to necessarily work with a deity exactly like that, like you're not interested in leaving offerings and communicating with them, like some people will do that. Some people will create an altar for them. Some people will use cards to speak with them. Some people will channel them. If that's not something that is drawing you in, if that's not speaking to you, you don't have to do that to work with these energies. You could just channel the energy. That's it. You don't have to actually work with the deity. So maybe you just read up on the deity, you get in tune with their energy, you meditate, and then you try to embody what they are like, embody their energy, embody their strengths in your own life to help you overcome different obstacles and things that you're dealing with. So I've got one more goddess that we're going to talk about, and that is Isis. Now, Isis is actually the Greek name, but Egyptians called her Aset, A-S-E-T. I hope I said that correctly, but this is another example of goddesses from different cultures that are essentially the same energy, the same goddess, but they have different names. But she was actually a very important goddess in Egyptian culture. And this actually translates to Queen of the Throne. So Isis was a goddess of healing and also of magic. Now the famous story goes, and this is the part that's a little weird, mythology is a little strange, but she was actually married to her brother. Just like, why is there incest in like all the mythology stories? Not all of them, but anyways, let's just ignore that weird fact. The story goes that her husband's jealous brother Seth, I guess he was maybe jealous of her or something. The article didn't really get too much into that, but basically he dismembered his brother's body and scattered the pieces around. If you did that out of jealousy, man, like you got some issues. But anyways, Isis was so dedicated to finding every single piece of her husband that the other goddesses and deities were like, wow, like we are so impressed by your dedication. Like that is pretty amazing. We are gonna help you bring him back to life. So they helped her revive him. Just like they helped him revive him. Like they just gave him some CPR. She actually was very important to Egyptians because she had so many powers. So she was a protector of women. She was a bringer of magic, which, I mean, obviously they revived her husband that was in a bunch of little pieces. And also another interesting thing was she was actually initially seen as a secondary figure to her husband. I mean, this is the same theme that we see a lot in mythology, in history, like, come on people, why are we always making women secondary? But the cool thing is she actually transcended that. So she became like her own powerful being to the point where she wasn't like seen as secondary anymore. She was seen as like this badass deity that they're like, oh my god, like Isis is queen. They called her queen of the universe. She was the embodiment of cosmic order. She's also seen as a magical healer. She cured the sick and she brought the dead back to life. So she was just like this super strong healer energy, which is like another reason like maybe you want to work with Isis energy because you want to be a healer and you want to embody that powerful healer energy. But she's also a mother and she was considered a role model for other women. She's a nurturer, she's a healer, she's a protector, she's a sorceress, she is very faithful, she embodies love, she's the giver of life, she has a very strong feminine strength about her. So these are all different energies that you may want to embody in your own life, or again, just work with Isis. Maybe you create an altar of Isis, maybe you put her picture up and you put some candles and other things. Now, a thing to note about working with deities is if you're working with them, do the research. You know, do the research so that you're being respectful, because you don't want to mess with things and spirits and deities if you're not, you know, doing it properly. And I'm not trying to scare you or anything, but like have some basic knowledge. Like what kinds of things would Isis like for you to offer her on an altar space, that kind of thing, right? So, but anyways, I just thought this would be a fun video to do. And let me know in the comments below, which goddess do you feel most drawn to? Do you have a favorite out of the three I mentioned? So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps out my channel, and maybe consider subscribing because I post new content every single week and I wouldn't want you guys to miss out on it. I hope you guys have an amazing day or night whenever you're watching this, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye guys.